All right, everybody. We are live on YouTube here with the fantastic Harvey Rayner to talk about your amazing one of one. It's so beautiful. I wish I could have seen it in person, Harvey. I know that you were there checking out the Wonderland Entropy piece that is currently on auction on Sotheby's. And, we'll just give folks a minute to get here onto the live stream. But just, yeah, I know you were telling me, but maybe you could talk to folks about what is it like to have a piece at Sotheby's and how you feel about the print? It's a big print.
Right. First off, Pete, thanks for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Um, so yeah, my wife and I, we just went to New York last week and had a look at the print. It was much more kind of exciting than I expected because in my mind, I thought, well, they'll probably just have it in a back room somewhere, but it was right there in the middle of it's quite a big gallery there at Sotheby's, like on 3 floors, large rooms. There's Andy Warhol's and there's a David Hockney literally 10 feet from my print. So and David Hockney was always my hero. Another sort of like British artist, but yeah. So that was very exciting just to see it there in that context because I've spent most of my adult life going into galleries and all of a sudden there's one of my pieces right in what looks like a major gallery. I know it's an auction house, it's not really a gallery, but it looks like it. So, and the print quality just really surprised me. I mean, I've seen my work printed for vellum, and that was a shock just to see the quality of the print next to a screen. But this piece being much bigger and actually just much more vibrant, much more detailed. There were straight away I was finding pieces, sort of elements in the composition I'd never even noticed on my screen before. So that was very exciting. Oh, Pete, I can't hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was muted there. I think I remember even going to Vellum and seeing the prints, and it's just another level. It feels like we're so used to seeing these on the screens that we forget what it's like to see it live in person, printed out like that. I haven't yet gotten to have a print for myself. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But hopefully soon, these walls back here will have. Well, I have that Fontana that I really would love to get printed in the vellum. So hopefully those will be coming up soon. So
Uh,
that's
yeah.
super exciting. And now that we've got a few more folks on here, I wanted to just say hello to Jared. Jared, how are you doing today? I know the three-piece suit is at the dry cleaner, so you're not on video, but
I
yeah,
know.
how are you doing?
I'm a little bit bashful today and off camera. So yeah, it's at the dry cleaner, getting swapped out. So I'm doing awesome. A little fired up. Got some projects that I'm working on in the background and getting some really positive momentum. So I'm on cloud nine, honestly.
Good, good. Well, so everybody, I know we started a couple minutes ago, but we just have a quick show here. Harvey, as I was talking about a little bit earlier, he has a one of one on sale, an auction right now at Sotheby's. That's going to end tomorrow, but the purpose of this, so Harvey, one of the things that we love about you is that you're really focused on the community and trying to give back to the community. So as Harvey was trying to decide which of 10 versions to go with the final output for the one of one, he asked folks on Twitter, and a lot of folks responded. And Harvey, being just, again, super nice, community friendly, wanted to raffle away a print for a lucky winner. So one of the folks who responded to him on Twitter and gave him feedback is going to win a print of at least one of the options that they responded to. And so, yeah, so that's super exciting. But we wanted to just put on a little show, try out our first live show. So we're really excited that Harvey was willing to test that out with us. So we have everything up and going. Hopefully, you all are watching on YouTube at the moment. And we wanted to just talk a little bit about the piece because this is, well, I'll let you talk about it, but I know it's like one of the versions of the Vellum algorithm. And yeah, maybe you want to tell us a little bit about it. And if you'd like, Harvey, I can also share it up on my screen here, the Sotheby's link.
Okay. Yeah, so so this particular piece started life as an early version of Vellum, because Vellum went through so many different transitions. Some of the earlier algorithms were very different to the latter ones. So I wanted to go back and explore some of them. There were certain elements I really liked. So I think it started life as version 8. You can go to my site and look at generators, and you can look at the earlier version and play with it. But um, so yeah, taking a long form generative algorithm, which I designed for sort of maximizing variety and kind of like using that as a starting point to make a single piece was this is the first time I've done this. Um, Obviously, before I got into long form generative art, I was only making one of one. So, but now having sort of been really deep in long form for a year, this felt like a strange process to go in to an algorithm and almost like deliberately break it and limit it rather than kind of expand it. So um, I had this very sort of like clear compositional thing I wanted to explore, and I was thinking of landscapes, particularly a Rubens landscape and a Constable landscape, where you had this very flat kind of receding plane to the right, which you can just sort of see, and then in my mind, it had these sort of very voluminous, sort of big forms in the foreground, and they kind of deconstructed as they moved to the right, um, and receded to this kind of like this horizon. So that was kind of like where I just started to hack the algorithm and kind of constrain where certain elements could be. I looked at maybe a couple of hundred outputs, and there was a certain sort of palette that was produced by the generative color palette algorithm, and I sort of locked that in. There was still some variation within that, but so yeah, this is kind of an unusual process, and I find it quite exciting. I certainly want to do some more one-of-ones. I don't want to do a huge amount, maybe just like once every quarter, drop a couple. Certainly if I can find an exciting venue like Sotheby's. But having seen the piece in Sotheby's, I would say something clicked in me when I saw it there in that gallery space, and I now really am excited to design pieces um, for gallery environments, big gallery environments. I think for me, this might be the bridge to the traditional art, rather than trying to recruit people from the trad art world and trying to convert them to the ecosystem we have. I think I personally I like the challenge of trying to actually design maybe composite pieces that just really feel at home in that environment and speak to those collectors without really having to explain it. So um, that's where I'm thinking now, having been to see the piece in a big gallery.
Hey Harvey, you mentioned that when you saw the print in a large format that you saw details that maybe you hadn't seen on screen. I'd like to double click into that one a little bit more and ask kind of like what are the details that maybe popped at you? Because I think that that's really, really fascinating from an artist perspective. And then part two of my question would be when looking at it, is there like a favorite part that either you saw after the print and maybe before the print?
Right, yeah, Peter, I could share my screen because I've got some photographs I took of the print. Um, let's just try this screen.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. So these pictures are actually on Twitter. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you can see a little section there. Just these kind of like collections of like crazy little details. You can see that where they're sort of very bold and red on the blue there. That was, um, and just like some of the graduations, the way I make a lot of those graduations with sort of stacked layers of lines, which are actually like expanded dashed. They're like very wide dashed lines with very small spaces in between each dash, and there might be like 20 layers of these, but you can see here how those graduations are built. And when you see them on the screen, you don't notice, you don't get all this texture in on the screen. this was a crazy area, which I really enjoyed. Um, I mean, it's almost like a type of glitch, but this is SVG, so glitch doesn't really, it's not the right term, but you get these kind of crazy paths emerging.
Kind of gives
Um,
me some Zancan, like more like organic vibes. It's pretty cool, the just the way the shapes loaded on one.
right. Yeah. Yeah. There was, there's like 200 layers of objects in this piece. It's still slower to look, but as it's a 1-1, I wasn't too worried about it taking a little time to actually render. Normally, I don't like things to render. I don't like things to take a long time to render, no more than about a second or so. But this, you can go on my site and actually generate other outputs, but it does take like 3 or 4, 5 seconds. I'm going to close that. I'll stop. Shall I stop sharing, P?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you like. Or if you stop sharing, I'll go ahead and share the final piece. I wanted to ask you, Harvey, how did you go from the 10 and decide on this one?
Well, actually, I'll start sharing again, and I'll show you. Um, okay? Share screen. So I'll bring up the 10. I think, okay, so this was the 10. I generated a couple of hundred and I kind of whittled it down to 10. And I just put them on a Medium article and I invited, the people who follow me on Twitter to vote on their favorite.
Oh,
It just so happened,
Harvey, we can't see your screen yet.
oh, okay, this one, okay, okay. So you see it okay now?
Yes, yes, we
Yeah,
can see it.
okay. So yeah, these were the 10 I picked out from several hundred outputs, and I just invited people who followed me on Twitter to vote on their favorite. It just so happened that the people, by far number one, this one was the most popular, and that was also the one I was thinking about anyway. But it was nice to get that kind of um, affirmation, let's say, from people who follow me. So these were the 10 outputs. Um, I think 5 here. This was another strong contender. That was very popular. 6 was popular. Um, and I think the last one, 10, was very popular. In this I wrote a little essay underneath these, and I just put these little diagrams in to kind of show you what I was thinking of before I started in terms of the compositional space and how things were laid out. It's a little sketch I made just to kind of show me where I wanted to kind of the sort of movement to go in the composition. I do this quite a lot. So, yeah.
From the comment section, I know you highlighted a few that maybe seem to be a little bit more popular. Just for everybody's reference, do you recall what maybe stuck out on some of the more prevalent?
You know, it's often, I mean, color is such a powerful thing for people, so people would actually left me a lot of comments, which was, very useful. That wasn't, they just, they, not only did they vote, but they also told me what they liked about it. So, um, you know, I mean, I personally like art. It's very sort of dynamic and punchy, and I think that's something that people saw in some of these output. They they commented on just how bold and vibrant the color was for some, but some people said that they felt like certain objects were coming forward and were like thrusting themselves off the sort of like surface, so to speak. So um, yeah, it was a strange mixture of kind of interpretations, but it's hard to kind of like point to one particular thing that people liked, other than I would say color is nearly always the thing that people, I think color is kind of like this thing that we can all talk about, we can all refer to, is and without having to sound too clever or anything, we can just say, well, yeah, these are colors I really enjoy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and to some extent, it's probably hard to appreciate all of the nuanced differences without seeing a larger print up close. And I wanted to ask you just a question about the let's call it community input curation process. I think this is perhaps I don't know if you've done it before, but this certainly seems like a time where you've really leaned into that. What was that like for you? And yeah, any for the audience, other folks listening, if you have any asks of them as you potentially continue to get audience feedback in your work of progresses.
Right. And that's a great question because this is something I want to explore more for sure. I really enjoyed this process. I was surprised that people, I got anybody like, I mean, I think it was about 100 responses, which is, which is a useful data point. Um, so definitely, I want to do this more. And I'm actually thinking with my next project, which I'm still in the early stages of, I want to I'm going to try and I got this way of generating outputs from phrases, and I want to invite the community to play with the generator and try phrases. But the condition is the phrases have to tie into the theme of the work. So, and I done this with Reticulum for Grails just as a way to like make it more of an authentic long form project because they just wanted a curated set. So I just used words that kind of tied into the basic themes. But I found actually it was a really interesting creative challenge, and it just gave that process of generating outputs more kind of meaning. So uh, one idea I have is to invite my community of followers to do this, and then if they choose a phrase and an output, if those two things make a lot of sense to me, if I really like them both, then that will be one of the mints, and that follower will get maybe a discount or a certain opportunity to buy a print or even a free print. I'm not quite worked out what those dynamics are yet, but yeah, I feel like this is very much a part of the future of long form generative art. This kind of community engagement, community curation. Um,
Is that the
and
first time you've shared that idea publicly?
yeah, I mean, I tend to just share things as soon as I think about them, for better or worse. And one of the things I do is just publish all my work in progress, and I just think you can't be too precious with ideas. It's one thing having an idea, is actually executing on it and building something from it's another thing, right? So I just like to throw them out there and see what people's reactions are.
No, I love that. I know that we've had conversations, and to hear it first publicly, you're hearing it here first, people. It's exciting, that dynamic shift. And if you guys are excited about it or not, like, please feel free to comment because I know that Harvey's actively engaged with the community, and that feedback would be really appreciated.
Yeah, 100%. That it's a super interesting idea. I mean, it's almost like text to generative art, right? We have like text to AI art. I mean, you could like incorporate stuff with phrases. And to your point, Harvey, really utilizing this Web3 world and the social networks that are spinning up and are just so robust, especially it feels like in the NFT side of things between Discord and Web3. I mean, you can really interact with people so much more quickly and they're ready. And I mean, honestly, we're all on here all day. Um, so awesome. Do you want to, should we run the raffle then? Since we're
Yeah, let's
getting,
do it. Yeah, if you want to hit the button P, I mean, I'm happy to do it, but one of the reasons I wanted to do this live because I just didn't want anybody to think that I was, just choosing a buddy off my list, off the list.
yeah, of course, of course. Can you just remind me, oh, here we go,
Oh, well, I've got
pattern.co
it here. I
slash
mean, I
raffle.
can I can trigger it if I'm sharing my screen.
That's okay. I got it. Let me share it up over here. And while I'm getting this set up, do you want to maybe just like can you describe what the print is? Like how large is it? Is it going to be signed? How will it get shipped, I suppose, or what the logistics are of that?
So yeah, I get all my stuff done with Tribeca print now. Just really excellent quality prints, and it's going to have what they call a deckled edge. So it's going to be a kind of torn edge, it's a heavy, thick. I think it's called German etching paper. The size will be, whoever wins it, they can let me know what kind of size they want. Because I don't want to send them a big print and then they basically got nowhere to put it. And I'll sign it. I'll sign it on the front, and Um, there will be a limitation to the size, but we'll discuss whoever wins. I can discuss with them and maybe even visualize what it'll look like on the wall and so forth. But it's just going to be the print. I'm not going to have it. It's not going to be framed, but then I'll get that shipped to them in the next couple of weeks or so.
This is
Fantastic.
exciting. This is super exciting, Harvey. You're so generous, man. I'm like, my name's on the list. I'm actually secretly hoping I don't get chosen, which will be.
Well, people can inspect the code. On my site, it's patent.co/raffle. They can see that it's not predestined in any way.
Yeah, that's right. And for everybody listening, either now or for the recording later, I mean, Harvey put a bunch of time into this, a bunch of thought into this. He created a whole website literally for this raffle and to have this experience. So, even if you don't win, show him some love, give him a follow, retweet this. It's just, I love that you're doing this for the community, Harvey. And I hope that other artists who are potentially listening or watching can take some notes because I think it's just a great thing to do for us collectors. All right then, shall we run it?
Yeah, hit
You
go.
ready? All right, this is the moment of truth. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's gonna be. There we go. Laces and lashes. Laces and lashes. Congratulations.
This is awesome.
I'm glad
Har-
it's somebody I don't know personally. I don't think.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't me either. It would have been nice, but
Are they watching?
I don't know if Laces and Lashes is watching. Let's see if they are. Oh, they are. They're in the Twitter Spaces.
Oh,
So
great. Well,
Awesome.
yeah.
con-
If they can
Huge.
just DM me on Twitter, and then we can work out, what size they want and so forth.
yeah, I unmuted my Twitter Spaces. Congratulations, Laces and Lashes. You are the winner, and really happy that you're here at the Twitter Spaces. Hopefully, you're on the live stream as well. But in case you weren't, Harvey said to just reach out to him, DM him, and coordinate for the print.
I unmuted my Twitter Spaces. Congratulations and Lashes. You are the winner, and really happy that you're
Oh,
here
whoops.
at Twitter Spaces. Hopefully, you're in the live stream.
There's a ton of hearts going off by Laces and Lashes. This is so awesome for them to be live, and hopefully, I'm looking at their profile. It says recovering sneaker addict. So hopefully, a little bit of Gen art in your life helps that recovery process. Such a huge, amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. This was awesome, Harvey. Great idea.
Yeah. I'll just say that the auction finishes tomorrow. I've put a bunch of links on my profile, and it says it's got 22 hours left, and I think most of the bids do come in right at the end, typically. So that will be kind of exciting to see them come in. I do think we've got Jacqueline from Sotheby's watching.
Oh, wonderful.
I
Thank you,
probably pronounced her name wrong there.
Well, thank you to you and the Sotheby's crew for helping put this together. Thanks, Harvey, again for the idea and giving back to the community. This is a lot of fun. I love the idea of giving away a print. It's one of those things that a lot of collectors wish they had, but sometimes don't feel like they can afford it. And so this is a really nice thing to give away. And of course, it doesn't take away from the actual NFT itself. So I think it's a perfect balance. And so Jared and I will have to hop, but thanks again, Harvey, for allowing us to do this with you. Just want to give you the stage if you have any parting thoughts for the listeners.
Just want to say thanks to you guys. It's been a lot of fun. I would say now I've got my print pool sort up and my connection with Tribeca Print. I do want to do a lot more of this type of thing. I've been wanting to give some things back for some time, but it's just taken me a long time to sort my print mechanism out. I wanted to streamline that and get that kind of really efficient so it doesn't take too much time. So yeah, we'll definitely do some more things like this in the future for sure. And like I said, I do really want to engage my community more as I sort of develop more. I really want to innovate, and the market's down. I think I've decided I'm going to just pause a little bit and do some real deep innovation. Spend some time getting the next project really on point. So I think I've got some pretty exciting ideas coming. So I'll be sharing them soon, no doubt.
Well, we cannot wait. So this was innovative. We appreciate you doing this live video stream. It seems to have gone well. We're getting some great comments on YouTube. Thank you everybody for tuning in and for your comments. We'll do a longer one next time. This was just a little bit of a proof of concept and a fun thing that we wanted to try out for Harvey. And thank you, Harvey, for trying this out with us. So I think it's gone great. This will be up on YouTube. We'll get it out on. Honestly, we'll probably just leave it on YouTube and not put it on the podcast, and so people can actually take a look at it. And yeah, so until next time, thank you everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Harvey.
Thanks, everybody.
You know,
Congrats
Jared.
to the winner. This is awesome. I'm so amped up for this. This is awesome.
All right. Until next time. Thanks again, everybody.
Take care, guys.